It's time for the Coach's Corner Show, brought to you by Beggar's Pizza. Now here's your host, Pat DiSabato.
Hello, welcome to the Coach's Corner Show, brought to you by Beggar's Pizza. I'm your host, Pat DiSabato from the Southtown Star newspaper, and we are at Richards High School, about 106th and Central Avenue in Oak Lawn. Guest today, Richards varsity baseball coach Brian Wujcik. Wuj, one of the best coaches in the entire area, 21st season at the helm, 405 and 291 throughout his illustrious career, and multiple 21 seasons. I mean, perennial power here, folks. And we're going to talk all things Bulldogs with Wuj, and it should be a lot of fun. The Bulldogs are in the background practicing right now, preparing for the big season up ahead. So, all right, we are going to go to a Beggar's Pizza timeout, folks. Go to beggarspizza.com, jump on board, grab some coupons, save a few bucks when you go to beggarspizza.com. All right, folks, we come back. Richards varsity baseball coach Brian Wujcik will be our guest. Stay tuned.
For over 30 years, Beggar's Pizza has been delivering you great pizza your whole family will love. But don't forget, it's not only our award-winning thin, stuffed, and deep dish pizza. We have great pasta, salads, desserts, sandwiches, and more. Our meals are prepared with the finest ingredients available, making sure you go home happy every time. Whether it's your team's victory bash, a birthday party, or just a nice night out of the kitchen, enjoy a great Beggar's Pizza at home or dine in at one of our many Chicagoland locations.
Having surgery or dealing with some type of nagging pain that limits your function? Then get to Athletics. We offer treatment for all types of orthopedic injuries, work-related injuries, and sports injuries. Therapists with over 20 years of experience provide treatment that is efficient and effective. Our 2,000 square foot clinics offer state-of-the-art equipment from HydroTrack, Blankenship, and Biodex. If your doctor suggests physical therapy, then you suggest Athletics, where every patient is treated like a champion.
All right, welcome back to the Coach's Corner Show, brought to you by Beggar's Pizza. If you're just joining us, we're at Richards High School, home of the Bulldogs. Our guest this week, varsity baseball coach Brian Wujcik. Wuj, how's it going, my man?
Good, very good.
Thanks for coming on board, my man. Finally, man, get you on the show. Talk a little baseball here, right?
That's right, it's time.
All right, so perennial power that you guys are, man. What are the expectations for the upcoming season once all this snow eventually melts?
Well, should we ever get outside on a field, I think we're going to be okay. We've got, I've got 9 seniors back, and all 9 of them had a positive contribution to last year's team. We went 21-14 last year, 16-3 in conference. We won the South Suburban Red, and these 9 guys coming back, they were contributors. So yep, we've got experience. And on top of that, I've got we're carrying 22 this year. So I got 13 juniors coming from a squad that won 30 games last year as sophomores. Wow. So they're good. They're nothing to look at. You know, they're a bunch of 160-pound, kids, but they know how to win, yep, and they compete. So far, what we've been able to do inside has been fun. The baseball IQ is pretty high with this group, and they're intense, yep, which is good.
That's a good thing, man. That's a good thing. Well, you've been doing this 21 years, which is hard to believe, Wuj. 21 years at Richards there. What's been the key, the most critical point of you being able to establish this program into a consistent winner?
When we first started, I took a look at what we had and I thought, all right, in order for us to compete with these schools, and you figure Richards is, Marist is here, Brother Rice is here, St. Rita's out here, St. Laurence is over here. In order for us to keep those kids here at Richards, yeah, the first thing we needed to do is we needed to build a facility where the kids would say, I want to play there. Yep. And we kind of figured that after we did that, then we're going to be able to attract some quality talent. The economy certainly helps us a little bit, where some of these kids stick around because they can't quite afford the Catholic League tuition, even if they are given scholarships. But after that, it was coaches. I got Jeff Kortz has been with us for 13 years. Kevin Quinn has been with us for 14 years. My lower level coaches have been here for a while. I got a good group of guys who share the same vision as me, and we all work together very well to prepare these guys from freshman year all the way up to senior year. We've got consistent coaching, and it's just there's a continuity within the program.
Yep. You guys have fun, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
You guys definitely have fun. How much pride do you take in being able to accomplish what you have here, being an alum of Richards? I mean, you're 1986 grad, and you see where talked about the facilities and where it's come from the time you played here to now. I mean, how gratifying is it for you, man?
It's real gratifying. 21 years, it goes by real quick.
Yeah.
And I was telling somebody today in lunch, I said, I've been in this building for the better part of 30 years now. I'm 44, and I walked into the building in 1982, and aside from the 4 years that I was away at college, and then I did corporate video for a year or two after that before I got into teaching, I've been here.
Yep.
So I do take a lot of pride in Richards.
Yeah.
I like to think that I'm a Bulldog.
Yeah, you're a Bulldog, man. That's for sure. Coming out of Richards, you weren't crazy, highly recruited coming out of Richards at the time. You end up going to Iowa, and you win a Big Ten batting championship, which is pretty unbelievable, man. How did you evolve as a player, and what are some of the things that you did as a player that you tried to apply to these guys here?
Well, when I walked down in Iowa, they gave me 6 weeks in the fall, and at the end of the fall, I got cut. So I went into the head coach and I said, I love it here. I plan on getting my degree. What do I need to work on? The assistant coach, a guy by the name of Tom Petroff, was there. He heard me. And he took me on the side later and said, you know what, I'll work with you. So he turned out to be probably the most influential coach that I've had outside of Gary Corhonen. I base a lot of my philosophy on what I learned from Gary, but all of my technique and a lot of my approach to coaching I learned from Tom Petroff.
Okay.
He worked with me in the entire off season, and by the time the spring rolled around, I still wasn't on the squad, but a couple guys ended up in the head coach's doghouse. Another guy got an injury, and next thing you know, they threw me a uniform, and I just felt that I was always looking over my shoulder. Somebody's going to take my spot, so I got to outwork everybody.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to teach these guys is don't get complacent. Don't be satisfied just because you were a starter last year or all conference last year or something. Somebody wants to play, so you need to make sure that you continue to work hard.
And how often do you relay your experience being cut as a freshman to these guys? I mean, because I'm sure there are kids who get cut a freshman year and they give up on their entire skills. And a lot of kids hit puberty, they get bigger as they're getting older in high school. I mean, do you use that as an example to your kids that you didn't quit, you didn't give up?
Yeah, and I try to tell the guys, I tell them, we got 22 guys on the team, and I can only put 9 on the field, 10 in the lineup before using a DH. I said, at any given time, half my parents love me and half my parents hate me, depending on what the lineup is that day. I said, so, I tell the guys on the bench, look, I've been there. I've chased foul balls. I did it for the first 2 years of my college career, and then I had maybe a combined 30 at-bats in 2 years. I said, but if it's something that you really want, a lot of times when you work hard, you will be rewarded.
Yep, that's it exactly, man. That's a great lesson, though. I mean, it's a valuable lesson for these kids to hear and the kids watching right now. So, all right, folks, we're going to go to Lisa Thomas Salon timeout. Go to lisathomassalon.com. Got some specials to be had. Show your student ID. Get a nice discount from Lisa Thomas Salon. We come back more with Brian Wujcik. We're talking baseball. We're talking Bulldogs. Stay tuned.
What teen doesn't want to be in style with the latest trends? What teen doesn't want the hottest cuts at an affordable price? It's time to get noticed with the Lisa Thomas Salon Teen Club, where girls get a cut in style for just $27 and guys get a cut in style for just $17. Get the right look for the right price at the Lisa Thomas Salon Teen Club. Your style, perfect style. Only at Lisa Thomas Salon.
For over 60 years, Standard Bank has been a part of your neighborhood, supporting sports and other activities, working with communities as they grow and thrive, helping businesses and families to reach their financial goals. In communities all over Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana, your neighborhood is our neighborhood. We can help you reach your financial goals by growing your money with My Green Checking. Interest checking with no minimum balance and no monthly fees. To learn more, visit standardbanks.com. Member FDIC.
If you're in the mood for some of the finest barbecue in the Southland, then Bona Pit Grill and Smokehouse in Palos Heights is the place for you and your family. Whether it's ribs, chicken, brisket, pulled pork, or any other barbecue favorites, Bona Pit serves up a flavor explosion in a championship form. We also offer steaks, seafood, sandwiches, a mouth-watering nachos platter, and salads in a casual atmosphere, with the option of either dining inside or on our heated patio. Watch the big game in our full-service bar or call ahead for pickup. Bona Pit in Palos Heights. Welcome back to the Coach's Corner Show, brought to you by Beggar's Pizza. If you haven't guessed by now, our guests, we're at Richards High School. Varsity baseball coach Brian Wujcik is our guest. All right, Wuj, one of the many things I admire about you is the fact that you play the big dogs. You schedule St. Rita, you schedule Marist, you schedule Brother Rice. You got Mount Carmel? Yeah, you have Mount Carmel. So you make the Catholic League tour, and you know, a lot of the kids from this area are being recruited by those very schools. And, you know, some of your colleagues, a growing number of your colleagues, by the way, won't play those schools because they say, we lose to them, they're going to take our kids, which I think is total bogus. But what is your reasoning for scheduling these schools?
Well, two reasons. The first one is travel. You know, if we got a 4:30 game, and bus is supposed to leave at 3:30, but typically a bus doesn't roll up till 3:45. I don't want to be driving out where I've got a 40-minute bus ride to go find an opponent to go play somebody when Marist is right up the street, Brother Rice is up the street, St. Laurence is up the street. You know, it's location.
Yeah.
And there are neighborhood rivalries. The cool thing is, the summer team that my son has played on, we've coached these guys since they were 10. Now it's a group of 12 guys that go to 5 different high schools that in the summer they all come back together and they all play together. And I get an opportunity then to see them. We got one at Marist, we got one at St. Lawrence, there's a couple guys at Oak Lawn, a couple guys at Richards. I think there's another one at Brother Rice. You know, and then we all get to come together in the summertime, but it's fun to see them in a different uniform, and it's fun to compete against those guys. And then the second reason is, I just believe that if everybody makes the playoffs, then maybe my seeding takes a hit. Maybe I could schedule some easier teams and get a higher seed, but I'm not convinced that's going to prepare me for the pitching and the caliber of opponent that I'm going to face in the playoffs, especially with us being one of the smallest schools in the state in 4A, and 4A around here just being absolutely loaded. I've got to play the best competition that I can find so that my guys get up for every game and understand that maybe beating a Southtown top 5 or losing to a Southtown top 5 team 3-2 is better than beating a team that's 10 games under 500 and we beat them by 10 and we're out in 4.5 innings. You know, I think that competition level is what has helped us be successful both in the conference and you know, and it really hasn't translated over to postseason success for us. You know, I've only won one regional in 20 years, but I think that we're the type of team that teams know they've got to bring their best in order to play us.
I know that. And let's face it, when these kids are playing, they're going to remember playing the St. Ritas and the St. Lawrences, these top teams. I mean, those are the teams they want to beat. They don't want, with all due respect to Rich East and Bloom, I mean, that's not who they're getting jacked up to play. They want to play those guys, right?
And we've had some. I mean, last year's we lost 4-3 to St. Lawrence, opening day in 8 innings, and it was the best game that we played all year.
Yep.
It was a great game, and they threw Altabelli, who's now at UAB, and we hung with him, and we knocked him out in the 4th inning, and it was a great game.
Yeah, but I remember a few years ago, you had the sweep, man. You went like 6-0 against all those schools, so that's a beautiful thing. So what are the keys to the Bulldogs reaching their goals this season?
Well, we have to stay healthy. Although, like I said before, we do have more depth than we've had in a while. We've got guys that can play multiple positions, which is nice. We've got 2 two quality catchers in Charlie Zeski and Sean Chiramani. So, you know, I don't need to run the same guy out there and catch for 30 games.
Right.
We don't have a number one stud pitcher, so I'm not going to be running a guy out here every third game or every third day, and he's going to get 85 innings in the regular season, and then by the postseason he's tired. I mean, we got a bunch of number twos, guys that can move the ball around and guys that can throw pitches for strikes, and if we play defense behind them, then we're going to be okay.
So who are some of the kids that need to step up this year for you guys to be successful? Some guys we need to keep our eyes on.
Well, of the juniors, I mentioned Charlie and Sean.
Yep.
And I'd like to have both of their sticks in the lineup as much as possible. Seniors, Anthony Smith. Anthony was hurt most of last year, but he's a phenomenal athlete at first base. He brings an added dimension of not just being a stick. I mean, he's going to be a 3, 4, 5 hitter for us, but he can also chase the pop-up down the line over his left shoulder and make this catch here,
Yep.
you know. He can scoop it. We've got another senior, Alex Weinert, who's stepping up, and he's going to play middle infield for us this year. Harley Miller has worked harder than anybody else that we've had, and we've seen his velocity increase 5 miles an hour from last summer.
Wow.
And you know, we're expecting good things out of him on the mound. Junior-wise, a guy like AJ Sanchez, who was a Mr. Everything for the sophomore team last year. He's going to be a great utility guy for us. Good stick, good defender.
Do a little bit of everything for you.
Good pitcher. And let me see. We got a transfer in from Lincoln Way West by the name of Shane Mills, who is going to contribute somewhere. We haven't quite figured out where yet, but he's going to contribute somewhere. You know?
Okay.
And Jimmy Wujcik is going to make the transition.
About your son, man.
Well, yeah, he's going to make the transition from second base to shortstop and probably be our leadoff hitter. And you know, the way he's developed, I believe in multi-sport athletes. You know, and I think the football season really helped him grow as a leader. And it developed his toughness so that he's out here now and he's leading this group. You know, but overall we have a very good group of guys. Team chemistry is outstanding, and it should be fun.
Yep. All right, well, Wooja, I appreciate your time, man, on this. I'm looking forward to that season coming on out. And folks, you got to realize something about the baseball facility here at Richards. One of the all-time best. And this guy got it all started with this whole brick backstop thing that's been going on. Richards was the first school. This guy was selling Otis Spunkmeyer cookies at 6 in the morning to students to get the funding available to get this thing. I mean, it's a beautiful facility, folks. Come on out, 107th and Central, 108th and Central, and it's just outstanding, man. Just check out a game over here. Concession stand. This guy plays good music too.
That's right.
Good music, music. Some 80s music, man. I don't know if the players like it, but we like it.
Doesn't matter.
That's exactly right. All right, folks. We're going to go to a nice segment with Tom Mulvey from Athletics. We'll talk about rehabilitation. Very informative for pitchers and all types of athletes. So check this out. And then we return out high and tight after that. Stay tuned.
Having surgery or dealing with some type of nagging pain that limits your function? Then get to Athletics. We offer treatment for all types of orthopedic injuries, work-related injuries, and sports injuries. Therapists with over 20 years of experience provide treatment that is efficient and effective. Our 2,000 square foot clinics offer state-of-the-art equipment from HydroTrack, Blankenship, and Biodex. If your doctor suggests physical therapy, then you suggest Athletics, where every patient is treated like a champion.
Since 1970, Standard Bank & Trust has been a landmark at the corner of 95th and Western. We're still at the same convenient location, and we're better equipped to serve your needs. So stop by and meet our friendly, professional staff. They provide personalized service and a wide range of products to help both businesses and individuals reach their financial goals. In the Evergreen Park area and in communities all over Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana, we're your neighborhood bank. Learn more at standardbanks.com. Member FDIC.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Coach's Corner Show, brought to you by Beggar's Pizza. All right, we have another important segment here with Tom Mulvey, owner and physical therapist of Athletic Sports and Orthopedic Physical Therapy. All right, Tom, we're going to talk a little bit here, and thanks again for coming on board here. Very informative piece here, folks. Rehabilitation, constantly our student athletes are being injured, whether it's in high school, junior high, collegiately, whatever. We're going to talk about an overview of techniques used in rehabilitation and the importance of rehabilitating properly. Right, Tom? Very important.
Very important.
I think a patient should have a basic understanding of why different techniques are used to rehabilitate injuries. Again, it's all about education, and it comes to education on rehabilitation. This is your guy right here, Tom Mulvey. So, all right, let's talk about the important points of physical therapy treatment, Tom.
Absolutely. You know, Pat, we're in a situation now where insurances are changing, and there's visit limits are going to be placed upon, no matter how good your plan is. It's extremely important that you're aware of who is providing that treatment, and that they are a licensed physical therapist, that they have experience, and more importantly, that they have the experience in what you are being sent there to do. You also have to make sure that the care is hands-on. If I'm treating an area, I'm not putting you in a room, having you do some exercises, throwing some kind of a modality on you, and then just saying, hey, thanks for coming, and we'll see you next week. I mean, I need to be able to tell you, to be able to either show you in model form, or to be able to also take my hands and show you where I feel pain. And that's important, because if I'm trying to determine whether it's muscular, ligamentous, or if it's neurologic, I should be able to take my hands and show you where the area of pain is, and show you how I'm concentrating my treatment in that area. If I can't feel muscle or ligamentous irritation in that area, if it is a neurologic type problem, it's treated differently.
Yep.
You can't treat them all the same way. And I think what happens in this day and age of changes in insurance, that a lot of the hands-on is being lost. And so it's important that as a patient, as patient's parents, that you're aware that this is the kind of care that occurs. Make sure that there's a structured home program. You know, that young athlete needs to have an equity interest in this, and they're given things that they need to do, and I tell them, if you don't go home, you're a grown, high school or junior high athlete, if you really want to get better, you have things that you need to do. If you don't do them, don't waste mom and dad's time and money by coming here and not getting better.
Yep.
So make sure that they're involved and that they're going to be dedicated. Make sure there's communication between the therapist and the doctor. It's vital. If we're looking to have a time frame with which to get that athlete back to being able to compete, we need to be on the same page.
Yep.
And it's important to remind the doctor that is occurring. So communication between the therapist and the doctor is key. And know there's a plan. It's not always perfect, but we have usually an idea of an estimated time frame. It's important that my time frame is really on the same page as the doctor's time frame, because he's really governing the return. And know that that's occurring. Don't just assume that those things are there. And you want to make sure that this person is giving exercises that are, number one, doable, and more importantly, that are not making you worse for the problem that you've come with.
Exactly. What are some of the modalities used for treatment, Tom?
You know, heat and cold are very, very common modalities used, and there's usually a little bit of controversy, but I tend to make it kind of simple. We have explanations of the use for them on our website. Cold is usually used as that first aid type modality within the first 48 hours. Beyond that, in most cases, you really want to get to heat. The cold decreases blood flow initially, but ironically, in a period of time over, say, about 15 or 20 minutes, it starts to increase blood flow, very similar to heat.
Yep.
You take something cold away and you're pink, that's because you're now getting blood to the area. So that really the only difference that you get is the time frame with which you get that increased blood flow, and also you get more of an analgesic effect with the cold. With heat, we get an area of more relaxation, allowing more blood flow to come into the area, and we're expediting the healing process. We don't want hot, just some warmth. We'll also use ultrasound, which is a form of energy. It's sound wave that excites the cells that within the muscle to make more friction, make them more active. They create a deeper heat. We use an electrical stim. It's important to know there are many different types of stim, and they're used for a reason. Muscle stim is used to re-educate and even to strengthen specifically weak areas, whereas the interferential current is a type of electrical stim that's very, very effective at relieving pain. Surface EMG is used to help to let the patient see how to use that muscle again. With electrical stim, it really helps them to get a re-education and use of the muscle. Very, very effective. As well as the other types of things that we have that we could use for pain.
And how do you know if the therapy is right for you, if an athlete knows it's right?
More importantly, that you see that there's structure to the program. More importantly, that therapist convinces you of their knowledge. More importantly, that they're the same therapist every time you come to see them.
Right.
But most importantly, that you're getting better, you feel you're getting better, you're becoming more confident with use of that extremity or that joint that's injured. Confidence is key, and that you see a progressive path to really getting back on the field or getting back to work.
Yep. All right, Tom, thank you very much,
Thanks for having me, Pat.
We're going to go to a timeout, folks. We'll be back in a little bit. Stay tuned.
Looking for a unique dining experience with incredible food? Then check out Labriola Bakery Cafe. Opened by Rich Labriola, Chicago's premier artisan baker, you know they'll have great bread, but you won't believe the rest of their menu. Wood-fired Neapolitan pizzas, fresh pasta, and their world-famous Richie Burger. There's also homemade gelato and, of course, their famous bread. Labriola Bakery Cafe and Neapolitan Pizzeria, conveniently located in the Oakbrook Promenade.
What teen doesn't want to be in style with the latest trends? What teen doesn't want the hottest cuts at an affordable price? It's time to get noticed with the Lisa Thomas Salon Teen Club, where girls get a cut and style for just $27 and guys get a cut and style for just $17. Get the right look for the right price at the Lisa Thomas Salon Teen Club. Your style, perfect style. Only at Lisa Thomas Salon.
All right, welcome back to the Coach's Corner Show, brought to you by Beggar's Pizza. Okay, folks, a little high and tight. Before we get to high and tight, thanks to Tom Mulvey from Athletics for that valuable segment on rehabilitation. Thanks to Brian Wujek, Richards varsity baseball coach, for being our guest. All right, little high, lots of tight. Going to go back to what Coach Wujek said about scheduling the top teams in the area. Listen, man, the games I remember most back in high school when I was at Eisenhower, playing Richards, playing Marist, playing Shepherd, inter-district rivals, and some of the top teams in the area. You don't remember playing the Slugs. You know what I'm saying? You want to have memories. Your kids want to get jacked up for games. Some of these schools out west, the Sandbergs, not scheduling St. Rita and these private schools. Come on. I mean, you got talent. The kids that are cut could probably compete against some of those schools. Get out there, schedule the best of the best, man, and just lay it on the line. I mean, that's what it's all about. Memories are for the kids. They're the students at the school. All right, folks, hope you enjoyed the show. We'll see you.